would like to thank our amazing sponsors, TouringPlans Travel. Their destination specialists work with you to plan and book your trip. Whether you're traveling to a theme park, headed out on a cruise, or wanting to get away anywhere in the world. As experts in smart travel, their agents suggest the best itineraries and activities to fit your family's needs and handle all the reservations on your behalf. There is no cost to you or your family when using TouringPlans Travel services, and you may even save some money if discounts become available after booking. So head over to touringplans.com/travel and tell them Rope Drop Radio sent you. Now, on to the show.
Helping you navigate the Disney parks.
With the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
You're listening to Rope Drop Radio.
Welcome to another Rope Drop Radio. Derek and Doug talking all things Disney. And Doug, when this episode comes out, I am 3 days away from a Walt Disney World trip.
Yeah, you're going to spend some days there and go on another Star Cruise.
I'm going to say final Star Cruiser voyage, but I really don't want it to be the final Star Cruiser voyage. But yeah,
it is what it is.
Father-son Disney trip. So be on the lookout on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the things, and Threads. I guess I got to remember to go to that now, too.
Come on, Derek. Get with it now.
So Threads, and I will be posting all sorts of things from our trip. So no new Patreons this week, Doug. I think that's the first time we've had to say that in a long, long time.
It's been a while, yeah, but you will be posting bonus audio.
Lots of bonus audio while I am there. I got some other guys going with us as well. One's a former cast member, so we will be getting some good stuff out on this trip for sure. And then hopefully you can hear my introverted son's review, who did really good today talking to Doug at the dentist.
Yeah, I made him talk.
You
that's
did?
That's
no
my
cavities.
secret weapon.
Yay!
Yeah,
so that's a great positive spin to it.
There you go. All right, patrons, thank you for supporting Rope Drop Radio, and on to another way to support.
Here's how I was going to do that whole thing. I was going to say I should give my dentist a good review, and then it was going to move on into it.
Oh, well, you just took too long to get there.
I did.
Man.
I was like, oh yeah, the brain wasn't functioning. My teeth still hurt from my cleaning.
No, jeez. All right. Apple Podcast reviews. If you want to support the show, go click 5 stars. If you want to write something, leave a 5-star review, and we will read it on air eventually. All right, this week's review is titled Great Show, 5 stars, by Tyler Burnett 28. I have been going to Disney for years, and I have been a DVC member since 2019. This show has been helpful to find some things I may have not known about or done. Planning on going in October of 2023. Hey, we got this review read before his next trip. For my next trip, keep up the great work, and if you ever need a guest for the show, I'd be happy to share my input on Disney. So there we go.
Thank you for that great review. Yes, leave those 5 stars and let us know how that trip goes in October. I believe my wife and daughter will be there, so maybe you'll run into them. So be on the lookout for some Rope Drop Radio stuff. So today, Doug, you came up with a new idea for an episode. We're going to do some TPS reports. And when you texted me that, I said, oh, Office Space is back. And we're going to rewatch that, but I didn't. So we are going to go to all the parks, but today we're going to go into the Magic Kingdom, do half of that. We're going to do Adventureland and Tomorrowland. So, Doug, I guess, what is a TPS report for Disney?
So this TPS report, what this is going to be is... I came up with an acronym here. So we're going to give a tip. We're going to talk about all the attractions and shows in each thing. So we're going to give a tip. That's our T. Something positive or something we like about that attraction. All right. We're going to try to keep it positive, Derek. I know.
There are a couple things. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're going to share a story that we may have about said attraction, because I think we have a story about every attraction and every show.
Yeah, pretty much.
World. Yeah. So this is a chance for us to kind of give a tip, maybe a little background info about where we're coming from on these different attractions. And so today we're going to venture into adventure, of course, and tomorrow adventure into adventure. I don't know if that works, but I don't know.
It's interesting that you went left to the park and then right to the park. So you're not going around. You're kind of
we're not going
all
around.
Over the place, Doug.
You got to decide. Are you going left or right, Derek? You going left or right?
I'm going left. I'm going to go left on this one.
I usually go right. Well, I mean, early entry is you can only go right.
Yes. But if you're getting there a little bit late to the park, you might as well go left. Doug's
Yeah.
favorite attraction is to the left.
You can double rope drop. You can go right and then left.
We can. So that might be
All
a
right.
tip in one of mine. So there
It
you go,
might be.
Doug.
All right. Adventureland. We're just going to give it a whirl. We're going to start out here. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well, we're not even going to the first ride in
No,
Adventureland. You're all over, Doug. Okay.
Keeping you on your toes, Derek.
You are.
So what's a tip for Pirates of the Caribbean?
It's got a really fun, immersive queue. So even if the line says it's a little bit long, I really like going through that queue. My kids enjoy it. And then at the Halloween party, there's usually a couple character actors in there that make it even a little more fun.
Yeah. Yeah. My tip is be prepared to possibly get a little wet.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
The back right. I feel like anytime I'm in the very back right of the ship, I always get it.
I feel like wherever I'm sitting is
good,
usually
yeah.
what gets it, so don't sit by me. But I think as a tip, like, no, it's a possibility. There's not signs the whole time, like Splash Mountain telling you, you're going to get wet. Like, you can come out pretty wet sometimes or completely bone dry. It is like the lottery. So that's my tip, is just kind of be mentally prepared for some cannon fire, if you will.
Yep.
So anything positive you would like to share about the Pirates of the Caribbean?
This is one of those attractions that sometimes people might think is a little bit scarier. It's in the dark. Pirates. My kids have loved it every single time. I've taken them all on it from 9 months. I think 2 of my boys went on it. Olivia was maybe 15, 16 months. They all enjoyed it, and it's now become a must-do every single Disney trip we do.
Yeah, I think my positive thing about this is it's the quintessential dark ride boat, the smell of the water. That's it has that certain thing that kind of gets nostalgic as soon as you're going on that flume, and it brings you right back to the old days.
Yep.
When you were a kid, sort of thing, you know.
Oh,
So
I
there
can
you
quote
go.
the whole thing now too.
We don't need that right now.
No,
though.
we don't.
No, that's please. That's a different show. Maybe nope, not even.
All right.
Nope. All right. How about a story? Any fun stories with this one?
I have a lot of ones. The first one that popped to my mind is one of my favorites because I'm an extrovert and I'm outspoken. So we get clogged up at the exit, and the boat behind us, I'm in the very back right of the boat, how I always am. The boat behind us runs into us, and I look back and go, "Hey, you better have insurance." And the guy goes back there, "What are you talking about? It's your fault." And me and this guy go back and forth for a good improv 3 minutes. We have both boats now getting into it, laughing, and it was just great play. Like, I found another version of me in the boat behind me, and it was great, and everyone had a good time with us. I just thought that was hilarious. And so anytime anyone hits me, I try it again, but I've yet to yet to find another me that does it.
There's evidently only 2 of you.
Yep.
Yeah, I enjoyed. Well, I have a story. One time, this is shortly after the refurb where they added Jack Sparrow, and a lot of times towards the end of the ride, you do get backed up and stopped, right? Especially as the day goes on. If you rope drop it, you don't get stopped. But why are you rope dropping pirates? So there's like ladies sitting in the row in front of us, and we're kind of stopped in front of the treasure room with Johnny Depp sitting there, you know, or Jack Sparrow sitting there. And they debated the whole time. Like, one girl was adamant that was Johnny Depp, and he's just sitting there all day.
Could
Like,
be. You never know.
He's
done
kind of
it.
popped in Disneyland.
Yeah.
But like, we sat there long enough to see like the whole
Cycle
kind of
of
like
animatronics.
like we were there a while. Like, somebody had something loading wasn't going right there a while, and like they just kept going and going. Like, they couldn't convince. Yeah. So there you go. That was kind of my story about pirates. Really, you sit there, you watch. It's not much story.
Oh, there's some moments you can
Yeah.
have. I bet some other people. Let us know your stories at Rope Drop Radio.
Yeah, you can talk like a pirate the whole time. That's fun. Moving on, Derek. The Jungle Cruise. What's a tip? The T of the TPS.
My tip is that it's Doug's favorite attraction, and he can recite every line over and over and over. So if you go with Doug, just know that he is going to judge every skipper very harshly.
That's a good tip. Everybody should be judging the skippers harshly.
Yes.
Like, yeah, if they don't have the timing of the jokes right, Derek, it just throws everything off. I don't know if that's so much a tip as just a life lesson that you gave there.
People don't know. They've never gone with you. Only about like a dozen of our listeners know that.
My tip is it's a very different experience when it's daylight and when it's dark.
Oh, that's a good one.
I tend to prefer the daylight because you can see things. In the dark, they don't light it up super well. It is pretty dark. So I do prefer my daylight jungle cruises. However, I have had a late night one with just like two other adults, and they asked if we wanted the adult version of the Jungle Cruise, and we had adult jokes the entire
Nice.
time. Now, that was a long time ago, and I don't know how often or if that ever happens anymore. So, yeah, day to night, very different. All right, positive thing about what nice things can you say about the Jungle Cruise, Derek?
I enjoy it every time. I think it's one of the greatest fun attractions. I know people give it a hard time because it's stand-up comedy type thing, but especially this last time, I had new material that I'd never heard or seen before. I was laughing. Even if the skipper's a little off, can really be funny. So no matter what, it's an attraction that will put me in a positive mood whenever I get on it.
Yeah, I think this attraction has the most rewritability in the Disney parks, possibly because the skipper is such an integral part, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they make it their own. They all do it a little different. And even with the same skipper, it can be a little different. So I think the positive thing is just how rewritable it is.
I like it.
All right. Any good stories about this one?
Our first time on this ride together, when they put us, we're the last two to get on the boat. Instead of making us wait to get on the next boat, which should have been done, it's downpouring rain, and they made you sit. Like, you looked at the cast member, you looked at the seats like, sorry, you have to sit in that giant puddle, and you were soaked to the bone. And it just made me laugh. They're like, we're not going to let this guy wait for the next one. We're putting him on this one. It was great. And it was our first time doing that ride together.
That was
magic.
Awful. No, that was in the one seat without a roof.
Yep.
Oh my
got
gosh.
Soaked.
Like, why would they fill that seat? The line wasn't even that long. Oh, that's a story. I think one of my stories is when my kids were finally getting old enough to get all the jokes and watching them laugh, at that 4, 5, 6-year-old age. My kids kind of understood sarcasm already. Like, a lot of kids, it just right over their heads, right? But they were getting the dad jokes of, the ruler of the jungle, a butterfly can be, 12 inches or a whopping 1 foot. Like, when they started getting those jokes, that's when I really started to find a different level of appreciation.
I like it.
There you go. That's a little story. That, and someday my favorite story would be when I get to skipper
Dreams.
The Jungle Cruise. Yeah. Someday, Derek. Someday. All right, let's move along. Everyone's favorite rope drop attraction, the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse.
Well, that's my tip. Don't rope drop it. You don't need to. There's never a line. It's something you should not do first. And yet, every single rope drop, I have seen people go there. And thank you. No, I'm also excited that so many people tag us on like Twitter and Instagram, like, oh, we saw them do it at Rope Drop Radio.
Right, like we're like 20 people back or so for our second rope of the day, right? We've rope dropped Tomorrowland or Fantasyland for extra magic or early morning magic, extra magic, yes, extra magic, and or extra time. Why can't I ever remember the name of this thing? Anyway, and then we come over to the second rope drop. So we're like 20 people back or so. There's people ahead of us that went to Swiss Family Robinson just on our last trip, Derek.
They don't listen to the show.
What are you doing? And yes, we've been tagged, and it's fantastic. Please tag us if you see people doing this attraction first. That's the tip, the only tip. I think the other tip is it's all stairs. It's a lot of stairs. So only do it if you want to go upstairs.
Nope. To be positive, it's a good workout. It's a lot of great exercise. You get some unique views of the Magic Kingdom you'll get nowhere else.
I was going to go with the views thing.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So, positive, some views. Yeah. That may inspire you to check out the old movie on Disney Plus. It's pretty phenomenal. There's pirates and zebras involved, so you can't go wrong. All right. A story with this one.
So I'm going to cheat on this one. I do have a good story, but I got to go out west. And I know it's not Swiss Family, it's Tarzan out there, but I'm still going to cheat because it's the same attraction. So I go on Indiana Jones for
You mean
rope
it's
drop.
a tree?
Yes, it's a tree.
Yeah.
There you go. And my wife is like, "Oh, I'll wait for you." And I went on Indiana Jones. My kids were really little at the time. They're like, "We want to do that." And I am just getting text messages from my wife like, "Hurry up off this ride. I'm tired of stairs. I cannot believe you're still on that. I'm going to die." And it was great. So, yes, I'm sure there's people that's happened to at the Magic Kingdom before. And yeah, little kids think it's something cool and it's not.
Yeah, I think my story is similar. When I think the one time I took Sam or Alden, they were fairly young. I think Michelle was doing, oh, it would have been Alden. Like Thunder was Sam, and I took Alden through it because, I mean, he was not asleep. He had lots of energy. I'm like, let's go. And I mainly just ended up carrying him. Yeah, that's my story.
I think you and I do an episode, a Patreon episode from Swiss Family. Next time we go together.
Next time we're there,
Yep.
we're doing it. Yeah,
yes, we
why
are.
not?
That's it. All right.
Hopefully there's a line to stand in to talk for a little bit too.
Maybe.
No, I'm joking. There should never be a line for this.
Then we can interview other people. All right. Next up.
Speaking of things without lines, the Enchanted Tiki Room. What's a tip for this, Derek?
That it never has a line. Actually, and I enjoy the queue area as well. And if you want to get a Dole Whip, it's right next door.
So the queue area actually has a little pre-show, which
Yep.
is fantastic while you wait for the show to start. My tip is this is the only attraction at Disney World where you're really actually allowed to take food.
Yeah.
Disneyland is literally the Wild West with food and queues and attractions. They don't care. Get it dirty and messy and sticky. Disney World, they're like, nope, don't take that in there. Throw your food, your drink away, except a Dole Whip into the Enchanted Tiki Room. So there's the tip. Go get your Dole Whip and go on in and watch. So something positive to say. What's the P in the TPS?
I like that they brought back the old original show. They had the Under New Management show, and they brought it back to the Walt Disney version of the Tiki 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 Room. And it was great. I like that.
Derek, where were you the night that caught on fire?
Don't ask questions.
Yeah. I think a positive here is that you will leave it singing. It'll be stuck in your head for a good while, but it's not a portable song to have stuck in your head. It's not Small World. It's in everybody's head right now because of Derek.
It is.
Yeah.
You're
I think
welcome.
that's a positive. It's entertaining. Do you have any stories?
I've just done it with my kids. They've enjoyed it. I don't really have any exact stories for this one. You and I have never done it together, so that might be another thing you and I have to do.
Yeah, we could Mystery Science Theater it.
That's a good idea.
You know, if there's no one sitting around us, we wouldn't do that if people are sitting around us. Like we're not gonna ruin someone else's experience, but that would be fun.
I like
Mystery Science Theater, Tiki Birds. As long as you promise not to sing too much, Derek. Yeah, and then my story, I remember doing it. The kids were fairly little. We left, and they're like, "What was that?" They were so confused. They're like, "That wasn't a ride. Why did we do?" They were just like confused as to why we took them in there to see birds sing. They were young, naive, didn't understand that Walt touched the attraction. Silly children. Yeah, there's my story. All right. Next one is something that should be in every park, multiple places. The magic carpets of Aladdin.
I just saw a picture of that attraction not being there, before it was there.
It's weird.
It definitely makes that land a lot different.
Which is crazy. They didn't do anything. That space was just
Open.
there.
Yeah.
Just, hey, look at all this space.
Good place for strollers.
Yeah, that's what it would be filled with now. It'd just be strollers. So take it. It's prettier than stroller parking.
It is.
So what is a tip?
It's actually pretty easy to get a late lightning lane for this one. And sometimes those lines do kind of get there 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. So I've had ones where my wife and older kids have gone and done Big Thunder, and I've just grabbed a lightning lane for the spinners. And, we've done magic carpets that way.
Yeah, every park needs a spinner. Hollywood Studios and Epcot need to just get their act together. Yeah, it's an off-the-shelf thing that they dress up.
Yep.
Calm down. But little kids love it.
They do.
And there's no reason not to let them love. Anyway, my tip is just like pirates. You could get wet. There's camels that spit at you while you spin. Also, you could get wet as you walk towards it from the entrance of like from the hub. So be aware of where you see a puddle on a day where it's dry. Don't stand there if you don't want to get spit on by a camel. I mean, Genie says it right in the song. The camels, they spit. So there's my tip. What positive things can we say about this spinner? They plop down right in the only empty space of the park.
Honestly, it's a spinner, and it gives you something to do sometimes when there's not a lot to do. So it's been really great when you have a little kid and the big ones are doing other attractions.
Nice. My positive is it gives you pretty neat views, and you can go to like the panoramic mode on your phone and do like a really cool pano picture almost all the way around. And it's kind of cool to look at. Also, time lapse from that area is pretty cool too. It's just a different vantage point. You're up in the air. You can see off in the distance a little. So I think the positive is some of the views it gives you, especially when you're up all the way.
Okay.
Yeah. Any stories?
I got spit on the first time by a camel, and I didn't know what happened, and I was very scared. I didn't know if something flew at me, leaked on me. I thought I was dead, and my day was happening. So I didn't know about that, and then I did. There's how you learn a lesson.
Yeah. I think this is the attraction that caused the most friction within the family at the Magic Kingdom when the kids were all small enough that all 5 of us could fit in one vehicle, which, I mean, now we take up like 3 vehicles or so. Like, it's ridiculous. You know, the space is little. Like, 2 adults don't fit very comfortably in a row, right? So the problem with this ride is whichever kid got the lever that does up and down, the other kid was the one that wanted it. And whatever kid got the one that tips it, that, like,
You just don't tell them what it is.
They're smart enough to figure it out,
Okay.
Derek. Oh, my
All
lever
right.
takes it up and down. Like, at least my kids were. I mean,
Your lever's making it fly. Good job, guys.
okay, sure, yeah. The 5-year-old did not buy any of that.
All right.
There was tears. So be aware of the levers when you get in. All right, there's my story. All right, I think we are done adventuring in the land of adventure.
All right. There you go. There's all the attractions. We want to hear from you. What did we miss? What do we got? Let us know your stories.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to venture back across the hub, and we're going to hit up Tomorrowland. This is one of my favorite lands, Derek.
It's a great land.
Great land, full of things. But we're going to start off with Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. Oh, we got stories here.
Well, the tip is that, yes, you can get a perfect score. I've been in line with someone who's like, you can't get 99999. And I'm like, yes, you can. And I've shown them my phone before. In fact, every time I get a perfect score and I put it on Instagram or Twitter, someone messages me, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Galactic Hero style.
As they should. So what you want to do is go and listen to Rope Drop Radio episode 159, a little while ago. It's how to become a galactic hero.
There you go. That's a good tip.
That's the tip. Go download that, share it with all your friends. How to become a galactic hero.
Love it.
There's no reason that shouldn't be our top downloaded show, but it's nowhere near it. It's alarming. But one, it is old, and we almost had listeners back then. But that's an important one. Go listen to that episode of how to become a galactic hero. That's my tip. Otherwise, I don't know what you're doing with your life, Derek.
That's true. So to be positive, I have enjoyed this attraction so much ever since I rode it with you for the first time, which will probably, I'm just going to give my story away now.
Okay,
so
right in
might
the
as
story.
well write in a story because I didn't believe you could get a galactic hero, and Doug told me you could, and he showed me pictures. I still didn't believe him, and Doug trained me, like literally had me sit on the left. He rotated, shoot this, and the emotional high that I got seeing that galactic hero getting the sticker is I can't surpass it. I've now gotten it probably a dozen times. It's never as good as that first one that I got with Doug, but I've now gotten it with each kid in the ride with me. I've gotten it with my wife, and it's now if I don't get it, then I'm angry for the rest of the day at the park.
Usually, though, it's a technical malfunction or something. Some of the guns just don't work right.
Yep. Or no, my
that.
favorite is when we have you, me, Michelle, Lauren, Alex, all of our listeners. And so all of our dots are at the same target. None of
Then
us
it's
got it.
impossible.
Yeah.
Nobody gets it because everybody's trying to shoot at the same
Yep.
things. So you don't know if you're hitting it or not. Because you can't. You're like, I
always
think
wanna
I'm
get-
that dot that's hitting it, but
I
you're
always
not.
want some like 4-year-old like who sure doesn't know what they're doing in the cart in front of me. And I'm like, and we got it.
Yeah, you want that around you. It's really hard to do with people that know. So the positive I have is this game it's a game and it's fun. You get to compete. It's nice to share your knowledge with others, like share episode 159 of Rope Drop Radio. Just saying. The story, similar is like when each of my kids have gotten Galactic Hero, seeing them get excited about that. And knowing that other people can get it and enjoy it and have fun on this attraction. So, and it's got a pretty good photo at the end too.
And tag us when you get it. Thank you for people who do that.
Definitely. That's might be one of the best attractions in all of Walt Disney World. It's not an e-ticket, right? So, I mean, it's not e-ticket material. And when we say e-ticket, that's talking about the biggest attractions. This is more like a C. And it's okay to be a C.
It's
maybe
E
a
in
D.
my life.
Right.
Let's get to some
us.
E tickets and the other attractions.
All right. Well, let's just jump to an E ticket. Space Mountain.
Oh, there we go.
What's a tip, Derek?
A tip is, I know it's an older roller coaster, but it can still draw some crowds. And so it is still worth a good rope drop. There are times that the wait is a little bit extended, so you might have to wait a little bit. It's a good one to use for a lightning lane, and it's still a great attraction.
Yeah, my tip is it's a roller coaster. Don't let some friend talk you into thinking it's not a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster in there. If you do Epcot first, you go on Spaceship Earth and you're like, oh yeah. And then you go think you're doing Space Mountain and it's like Spaceship Earth. No, it's a roller coaster. That's my tip. What can you say positively about Space Mountain?
That I still enjoy it as much as I did as a kid, but also I really enjoy the holiday themes that they do with this every time. Like when it's the Mickey's Not So Scary, it's a little scary because it's pitch black in there and some crazy music. So I do enjoy it, and I do like that they're keeping it a little fresh with doing some holiday stuff with it.
Yeah, my positive thing I can say about it is it's very iconic looking. I enjoy that. That's about the limit of my positiveness of Space Mountain, Derek.
Good, because my story is when you and I went on it. That was one of the most fun I've ever had in my life. Hearing Doug go, the noises I can't even recreate. I don't even know how he made them. And we actually recorded it the second time we did it. We recorded it. So hopefully you and I do it again sometime.
No.
Yep.
No.
Someday.
No, I
one
did
of the
not.
holiday over themes.
Yeah, no, I don't. Nope, not doing it.
Well, it's your story. There you go.
Yeah, my story is I've tried it several times and it just is no good. I can't do it. I'm getting old or falling apart or I don't know, man.
Well, all right. I think if enough Patreons go with us on a trip sometime, we'll get Doug on it.
No, I don't. No, there's nothing that will get me. And you did this way long ago to me, and I can't even figure out how long ago it was. It's not an episode number. You just have to search Rope Drop Radio live from Space Mountain. If you want to hear this.
Check it
it's
out.
The original on-ride audio we've ever done.
That is.
And then Derek's been torturing me ever since.
Yep. Ooh, can we transition to a bad audio at the next ride?
Not quite.
Oh,
no,
okay, never mind.
Let's slow it down a little. And I was so nervous. I was pretty sure it was going to kill me. And then I had fun and I liked it. There's my story. I actually like roller coasters, Derek. My body has rejected them.
I know, your body doesn't.
Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. This is more my speed. What's a tip?
It is. Tip is, it's a great attraction. There's so many people that skip it. It's a lot of fun. It's different every time. It will make you laugh, and it is interactive, and I've been called on a couple times, so it's a great one.
Yeah, my tip is don't sleep on Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. It's hilarious. It's interactive. Derek's usually that guy because, I
I've
mean,
never been
look
that
at
guy.
him. He should
Nope.
be every time. Actually, I should be too. I'm definitely a that guy, but I've never been that guy. So it is a great attraction. Do not sleep on this one.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. What is something positive about Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor?
I think this is another one that is cool that they do holiday themes with it. So they do kind of a Halloween one you can walk through. They do some stand-up comedy that's Halloween oriented. The other one that I love is that they get the kids involved by text in a joke, and then kids love when they get to hear their jokes. My daughter keeps trying. One of these days she's going to get her joke read from one of the monsters. So yeah, it's fun. It's interactive.
So what I really like, my positive thing, is how the different types of comedy this includes, and like we will quote this in our daily lives, like Roz, I'm watching, always watching, but in much more of a Roz voice. And when you don't really know the answer to something, but you want a big ta-da type of moment, you just say, and the Eiffel Tower. Someone got it. So that's the positive thing. It's funny. It's well written, well performed. Fantastic. Yeah, I think you got to do it. What's a good story, Derek?
One time my daughter was obsessed with, like, we got to get it. She wanted me to be that guy, and then I wasn't that guy, and she got really mad sitting next to me. Like, oh, I wanted you to be that guy. And then all of a sudden, the camera pans are doing the retelling of Monsters, Inc., and I got to be Sully. So I got to do the face with my hands up, and they interacted with me. And so my daughter went back to being really happy that I got to be a character.
Very cool. Very cool. Michelle got called on one time. That's my story. That was fantastic. And it was when they do the subliminal messages type thing. Yeah, he uses his telepathic powers.
Yep.
And he didn't hear Michelle say the number correctly, so he got the number wrong. And then, like, after he'd gone down the trap door and everything, he goes, is your number 42? Like, you can hear him from, like, underneath the stage. And then he got the number right. So his telepathic powers are pretty good. And just watching Michelle, like, put little antenna on her head and wiggle them around and make noise was fascinating, because she is not that person at all.
Not that guy.
No. So having her have to interact was priceless entertainment for everyone that knew her. Everybody that knew her was fascinated. And so every now and then one of our kids will go, is your number 42? Just randomly, like, yeah. We just randomly say stuff from this attraction. It's good when you randomly make jokes about salmonella. But okay, moving on. This one is an enigma. The Tomorrowland Speedway.
Love this ride.
That's it. That's your tip. What's your tip, Derek? The TPS report.
The tip is it smells like gas, and it's a lot for some people. And so be prepared that it is going to, you'll wonder how the people who work there survive every day.
Yeah, I don't think OSHA really fully condones what's happening outside.
I wonder on that one.
My tip is this is like a fourth rope drop option. I mean, it's probably the third option in Tomorrowland. If it's on your list to do, Space, Astro Orbiter, Tomorrowland Speedway. Because you can do Tomorrowland Speedway and then guess what? Go walk on Buzz. Buzz gets a little rope drop surge. You do Tomorrowland Speedway, go walk on it. The other tip is don't do this in the middle of the day. You might have a heat stroke. It's all sun.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah. So what's something positive? Because the tips weren't really doing it positive-wise.
Positive is that they have a bar down the middle, so you're not going to run off the road. This is like, it is safe for kids to drive, for you to drive as a parent, and it's a good way for them to learn at an early age how to stay, in between the lines.
Yeah, I don't know that they learn a thing, but I like it. That's something positive. The other positives, my gosh, kids love driving until they can drive.
Yep.
This is popular up until they're like 15, 16 years old. So
makes sense.
Enjoy it. If you're a chiropractor, I'd set up shop, hand out cards right at the end of it. because my kids, they hit that rail like it's a game, like there's prizes to be won.
I go live or make a video every
Mhm.
time on our social media page every time one of my kids has driven me.
So you have a good story, Derek?
This last trip was really fun because my two older kids are finally tall enough to go by themselves. So that's a huge win for us. They loved it. They thought it was the coolest thing. Like Declan was literally tall by a hair. And then taking Callum, my 5-year-old, I've done it multiple times with him. He still talks about it. And so just being able to see the whole family driving is really a neat thing. And soon we're all going to be able to be in our own cars.
Yeah, and then eventually they get lazy and they're like, "Oh, I want you to ride with me to push the pedal down."
Oh,
Because it's a lot of work pushing the pedal down.
it
Your foot
is.
gets tired. So there's my story. My kids make me push the pedal down. Yeah, it's kind of a weird.
I always seem to beat Doug.
Um, yeah. Well,
You
that
never get
happens.
around me.
We, but things happen. Things happen. Yeah, it's hard to pass, right? Like
You can't really
it's
pass well. I
tricky.
know I've tried. Yeah.
It's tricky. I feel like I'd get in a lot of trouble if I did. All right, let's go back to space. Astro Orbiter. What's a tip?
Tip is that there is no lightning lane
Hmm.
for this. And so you will be waiting in line sometimes. If you want to rope drop it, this is one that's not a bad rope drop if it's a must do for
All
you.
right, that's a great tip. No lightning lane, rope drop into the night. Good idea. Um, Here's my tip: is this is not Dumbo. This is not carpets. This is not Triceratops spin. This has some G forces. Not a lot. I mean, we're not talking roller coaster, but it is enough to make you a little bit nauseous if you have trouble with motion. It's if you have trouble with the carousel, you definitely can't do this. But it is definitely a little more intense, and then it is elevated. So if you have fear of heights, ooh, doggy, avoid this one. So there's my tip. You get some G forces, not many, but a little bit. Um, so what is something positive to be said about this one? Because those tips weren't really positive.
This is a lot of fun to ride at dusk as the lights are coming on at Tomorrowland and the lights are on the castle nighttime. This is a good attraction to be on to see those
Right.
unique views.
The views are great. The positive I'm going to say is this is even better if you can time out fireworks.
Yep.
Fantastic. So it's kind of a positive there. How about a story, Derek?
I didn't puke on this. This is the only, I couldn't believe it. Getting on with you and I did it, and I was like, I felt it, and I was amazed that my body felt it. I think being too close to you, I
Yeah,
started to get some of
contagious.
your, yeah, and so I know Michelle is not happy with either of us because we were stumbling out of there a little
I
bit.
think my story is you were worse than I was.
I still went on Space Mountain though
Well, yeah,
afterwards.
that's a whole different thing, but I did it and I didn't vomit. That's my story.
There you go. That's good.
We did
That's a
it.
win.
The kids were little. They loved it. And I'm not sure. Like, I don't even know that Alden, was, when we rode it, was tall enough to see out of the rocket.
Hmm.
He thought it was fantastic. I'm like, okay, buddy. Sure it is. So there you go. All right, moving on. Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. Another attraction Walt touched.
It is. It's
Tip.
great place to go when it's hot out.
Oh, that is a good one. Yes. My tip is it runs continuously, so don't stress about getting there at a certain time of day. Like you don't need to rope drop this. It's there. It's the longest running stage show in America.
Yep.
I think that's not quite a fair thing because they're animatronics, but sure, whatever. All right. What is something positive to say about Carousel of Progress?
This really hasn't changed. So if you want to see something in its unique, old school, iconic fashion, this is an attraction for you.
Yeah, they haven't updated the final scene since my childhood, so that's a thing. I mean, they talk about laser discs. I remember when those came out. Let's see, positive. I like the song. The song is very good. It moves. I love the song. I feel like I learned some history too. If you take your kids, I think up until the final scene, it's phenomenal. Final scene. Come on. I'm veering off a positive, Derek. I
Yep,
love
you
it
did.
though. I do this attraction quite frequently. The family go on Space Mountain. I'll go on this attraction or
Carousel
yep,
Progress, that's what it's called.
yes, so story.
Yeah, man, this is the one I'm like, I've been on it 3 times. I do it every like 7 years, 8 years. And so I really don't have a good story. I just get on it. I enjoy it for what it is, and I get off. My kids are. I will tell you the one weird thing. My kids love it for some reason. I haven't figured
It's
it
a
out.
song.
Yeah,
It's
maybe.
Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, Derek. Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. So, here's my story. We went on it one time, and there was a lot of international guests on it with us. If you don't speak English, you're not getting much out of this attraction. They kept standing up and leaving. Well, like, you sit down in the theater, I don't think they understood we were in a different spot. So every time someone got up and pushed the emergency exit door, it reset the show. So then we had to watch that
That's
scene
hilarious.
all the way over again. We were on that attraction for like an hour because people kept trying to leave. They spoke no English, which
Oh, I do have a
it makes it rough.
story.
Oh, goody.
Like my wife got on and I was like 38 steps behind her, and then they closed and they're like, "Oh, you can get on the next one." I'm like, "No, my wife's already on." So I was able to get on. But there you go.
Oh, that would have been fantastic
Yep.
if you had to go on the next
Yeah.
one. I'll be like, I'll wait out here. I'd wait for the exit. All right. We got a couple left here. Tomorrowland Authority or Tomorrow Transit Authority?
People
The
mover.
People
There
Mover.
you go.
Best ride in the park, maybe.
Love
I don't
it.
know.
Yes.
Tip. What's a tip, Derek?
Tip is that it is long, it is nice, it's a good time to be able to sit down, and it is my favorite attraction to do right at nighttime when all the lights are coming on in Tomorrowland.
Right. Here's my tip. If it's not too crazy busy, the line moves fairly well. It's no big deal. When you get up there, if you don't want to sit with your whole party of 4, say party of 2. Sit with the other person you want to. Get your own car. Just be greedy like that. It's okay. Don't ever tell them you're together. They don't need to know. You don't. So a lot of times, the girls will take one car, we'll take another car. Every now and then they try to shove 5 into one. That doesn't work. So we just party of 2. So if you want to ride solo, you need some time by yourself, this is the attraction for you.
Yep.
That's my tip.
It's a good tip.
Yeah. Something positive, Derek.
I'll reverse it. I literally have nothing negative to say about this attraction. It is all around great. I enjoy it so much, and it's near perfect.
I'll give mine one negative.
Oh.
It's not at Disneyland.
Oh, that's a good one.
There you go. Yeah, I think that works. That's a positive. We
Yes.
have it at Disney World.
My only negative is that I broke down on it one time in the storm. I was on it for a little while.
And it's super cool when you go through Space Mountain.
That's my story.
With the lights on.
That was my story.
Let's hear the story. Give your story.
I've been on it now twice with Space Mountain with the lights on, and that was really cool. And the one time we went ridiculously slow, and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." I did not think that's what it
Nice.
looked like with the lights on.
It's crazy,
It
isn't it?
is.
All right. So my story is when Alden was real little, was just kind of doing the goofy barnstormer type thing. Like when he was like 2, he would raise his hands when it started going like a roller coaster. Like he honestly thought it was amazing. Now he begrudgingly goes because he's a teenager. Anybody wants a teenage boy, you can come and have him. Just please ask. All right, last attraction, the newest attraction, Tron Light Cycle Run. Derek?
Positive, Doug did not die. I was on.
That's-
Oh,
yeah,
it's a tip. Sorry, tip.
TPS
Sorry.
report.
Tip. Doug did not
Tip.
die. No, tip is this is one that you want to get a lightning lane for. Spend the money. I know it's expensive. We failed at getting a queue the last time. It goes quickly. Just spend the money. It's new. It's busy. Just do it.
A tip, put the stuff in the locker
Yeah.
so you don't lose it. There's been people losing
Yes, they
phones
have.
and stuff, folks. So put your crap in the locker, and if you're taking your phone on the attraction, there's a little thing right in front of you to put it in. Don't trust your pockets. Put it in the little thing. Also take a picture of your locker number on your phone. Don't want to forget that. There is a way to find out. You tap your Magic Band or your park, media, and it tells you what locker you did. But it also probably says like, "Hey, you forgot your number. Good job, buddy." No, it doesn't do that. That would be fun. It
No,
should
that's what the
program that
cast
in there.
members say. He hands you a sticker.
Yeah.
That's what it should be.
Ooh,
I forgot what locker I am. Tron.
That's awesome. Maybe we should make those stickers.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
Pass them out. They wouldn't get mad at us at all. All right. What's something positive about Tron Light Cycle Run?
I enjoy it. I know it's got a lot of mixed reviews right now, but I actually did like it. I liked it more going with my kids than I did with Doug, but I am glad that Doug
I
did not
don't know
die.
why.
But it is really a fun attraction. I wish it was longer, but it is. I was like, yeah, this fits and works for what I wanted in Tomorrowland.
My positive is they put a water fountain next to a bench before I had to go upstairs. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only positive I got. They take a picture.
They do. And we have a great
Yeah.
picture of us on it together. That's one of my
The only picture I'll ever have of that.
There's my story. Getting to experience a ride with Doug. So I'm still upset that he did Guardians without me and won't do it. So I knew Tron had to be something that we did together. And so being able to do that, like watching Doug, I was concerned for him. I was concerned for myself. I was concerned for his children. So, but the pictures made it worth it. And yeah, that was an experience I'll never forget. So I'm glad you waited and did that one with me.
Okay. Here's
Your side
you
of
know
the
what?
story.
That's my story. I did it. I survived it barely. I don't know why it was so bad. It's my kids made fun of me after they did it. They're like, that was not really that intense, Dad. Good job. Way to go. So maybe if I tried it again, didn't pull the thing so tight, maybe I sat in the back row. There's a lot of maybes. I don't really care about the maybes. I'm just not going to do it. So that's the easiest maybe there is to maybe not do it ever again. But Derek, here, I'll promise you, the next attraction that opens, I will do.
The Epcot's water journey of water.
Yes.
Wow. Can't wait to do
Yeah.
it. You know what? Remember when we did the live, we recorded Walking Around Galaxy's Edge when that opened? We're
Uh-huh.
going to do that at Journey of Water.
At
Whenever.
the splash park,
Yes.
you're not allowed to splash
Yes.
in. I can't wait for the signs to say "Don't get wet" or something like in true parks ops.
That one, either
Like,
we're going to record or that's
yeah.
going to be a whole live show like we did from the tram. So one of the ones.
Yeah, maybe we'll be there in January and do it when it's nice and
Oh,
cold.
I cannot wait.
What are they gonna do if it's real cold? Like turn off the water and the attraction that's literally water?
Yeah, because
I
I've
can't
been
wait.
there
Yeah,
when
it's
it's
gonna be
below freezing. So yeah. that's
Yeah,
fun.
and they like turn off all the fountains and stuff. Yeah, it'll be fun.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
And
That's,
that is it. That's a TPS report.
That is it. That is the first
We did it.
TPS report we've done. Let us know if you want us to keep going, if you're still listening. If you liked it, leave a review for sure. But we want to get to all the parks, all the lands, and go over everything. So let us know what you agree with, what you don't agree with. We'll be asking for stories on our social media at Rope Drop Radio this week. And maybe you've never done any of these. So if you have to, you need to book a trip. And you can do that with TouringPlans, the amazing destination specialists. We have a link in our show notes. And if you need help, let us know and we can send you a link through Messenger or email. We'd love to put you in touch with them because they will help you book an incredible vacation. And then, yes, if you want to help support the show and get our after shows, bonus episodes, I'll be coming out with my trip coming up. You'll need to go into that link, patreon.com/ropedropradio to support the show and keep leaving those reviews. But that is all the time that we have for these TPS reports because we need to go make our own TPS reports on the after show on Patreon. And I think we just need to watch Office Space now because it's stuck in my head.
Right.
And I have so many quotes I want to do. But for Doug, I'm Derek. You've been listening to Rope Drop Radio.